What would you do if the one thing you cherished most was ridiculed by everyone around you, only to prove them wrong in the most unexpected way? Lila stood in the corner of the upscale Manhattan boutique, her fingers tracing the smooth leather of her tan Hermès Birkin bag. The bag was her treasure, a symbol of everything she'd fought for. At 27, she'd built a modest but thriving freelance graphic design business from nothing, scraping by in a city that chewed up dreams like hers. The bag wasn't just an accessory. It was a testament to her resilience, a reward for sleepless nights and relentless hustle. She'd saved for years, skipping vacations and dining out to afford it. But to the clique of polished women browsing nearby, it was a punchline. Nice knockoff. One of them, a tall blonde in a tailored suit, sneered as she passed Lila, her voice dripping with condescension. Her friends giggled, their eyes flicking to Lila's bag with smug amusement. "Where'd you get it?" "Some street vendor in Chinatown." Lila's cheeks burned, but she forced a smile. "It's real," she said softly, clutching the bag closer. The women exchanged glances, their laughter sharper now, slicing through the boutique's perfumed air. "Sure, honey," another said, her voice laced with pity. "Hermès doesn't just happen to people like you." The words stung, but Lila didn't flinch. She'd heard worse growing up in a small town where ambition was a foreign language. She'd been the odd one out, the girl who sketched logos in her notebook while others planned proms. Moving to New York had been her escape, but the city had its own hierarchies. Here, wealth spoke louder than talent, and status was measured in labels. Lila had always believed hard work could bridge that gap. The bag was proof, or so she thought. As the women strutted away, their heels clicking like a metronome of judgment, Lila's phone buzzed in her pocket. She glanced at the screen, an unknown number with a Paris area code. Her heart skipped. Spam, probably. She hesitated, then answered. "Hello, this is Amélie Dubois from Hermès, Paris," a polished voice said. "Is this Lila Nguyen?" Lila froze, her pulse racing. "Yes, that's me," she managed, her voice barely above a whisper. "We've been trying to reach you," Amélie continued. "We found your contact information through a mutual acquaintance, Mr. Carter. You designed a logo for his gallery last year, correct?" Lila nodded, though no one could see. Mr. Carter was a gruff but kind art dealer who'd hired her for a small project. "Yes, that's right." "Wonderful. We've seen your work, and we're impressed. Hermès is launching a limited edition scarf collection, and we'd like to commission you to design the patterns. It's a significant project, and we believe your style aligns perfectly with our vision." Lila's knees weakened. She leaned against the display case, the glass cool against her palm. "You want me to design for Hermès?" "Yes," Amélie said warmly. "We'd love to fly you to Paris next week to discuss the details. Would that be possible?" Lila stammered a yes, her mind spinning. As she hung up, the boutique seemed to tilt. Hermès, Paris, her designs. It was surreal, like a dream she hadn't dared to dream. She glanced at her bag, the one the women had mocked, and a quiet pride swelled in her chest. But the moment was interrupted by a new voice, gravelly, familiar, and entirely unexpected. "Lila? Lila Nguyen." She turned to see an older woman approaching, her silver hair pulled into a chic bun, her eyes sharp but kind. It was Mrs. Evelyn Carter, Mr. Carter's wife, a woman Lila had met only once at the gallery opening. Evelyn was a quiet legend in New York's art scene, known for her discerning taste and unassuming generosity. "I overheard those women," Evelyn said, her voice low but firm. "And I saw your bag. May I?" She gestured toward it. Lila hesitated, then handed it over. Evelyn examined it, her fingers tracing the stitching with reverence. "This is no fake," she said, her eyes meeting Lila's. "It's exquisite. A classic Birkin, 35 centimeters, Togo leather. You have impeccable taste. Lila's throat tightened. Thank you, she whispered. Evelyn smiled. I'm the one who recommended you to Hermès. I've followed your work since the gallery project. You have a rare gift, Lila. Don't let anyone make you doubt it. The revelation hit Lila like a wave. Evelyn Carter, a woman she barely knew, had seen her potential and opened a door she'd never imagined. It wasn't just Luke Kit, was someone believing in her when she'd felt invisible. As Evelyn walked away, Lila noticed the boutique had gone quiet. The women who'd mocked her stood near the register, their faces pale, their eyes darting between Lila and Evelyn. They'd overheard everything. The blonde smirk was gone, replaced by a tight-lipped silence. Lila didn't gloat. She didn't need to. The truth was louder than their laughter had ever been. The next week, Lila boarded a plane to Paris. The Hermès atelier was a world of elegance, polished wood, soft lighting, and the scent of leather and silk. Amelie greeted her like an old friend, leading her through sketches and fabric swatches. Lila poured her heart into the designs, blending bold geometric patterns with delicate nods to her Vietnamese heritage lotus flowers, woven subtly into the silk. Each stroke of her pen felt like a reclaiming of her worth. Back in New York, the scarf collection launched to critical acclaim. Vogue called it a fresh, vibrant take on Hermès' legacy. Lila's name was in the credits, small but undeniable. She framed the article and hung it in her tiny apartment, next to her Birkin bag, which now sat on a shelf like a trophy. But the real victory wasn't the fame or the recognition. It was the quiet moments, like when she visited her hometown and saw her mother's proud tears, or when she mentored a young designer who reminded her of herself, full of dreams but afraid to chase them. Lila had learned that value wasn't in what you carried, but in what you created and shared. The women from the boutique, she never saw them again, but she hoped they'd learned something too. That judgment is a flimsy shield, easily shattered by truth. Lila's bag wasn't just real. It was a reminder that authenticity in possessions and in people always finds its way to the surface. And as she walked through the city, her head high and her bag swinging lightly at her side, Lila knew she'd never let anyone dim her light again.